Part 1. How to survive without modern medicine when disaster strikes. Welcome to the world where pharmacies are locked, hospitals are overrun, and Googling your symptoms is no longer an option. Picture this. A crisis hits, and the modern medical system, our safety net of pills, scans, and surgical precision, collapses like a house of cards in a windstorm. It's survival of the fittest, but spoiler alert. The fittest might just be the one who knows how to turn weeds into medicine and use duct tape for wound care. Today we're diving headfirst into surviving without modern medicine. We'll explore DIY medical hacks, low-tech healthcare alternatives, and how to avoid becoming the unfortunate protagonist in a cautionary tale. If you've ever wondered how our ancestors survived without ibuprofen or antibiotics, listen in and you'll be set for life if you make it through the whole video. The modern medicine illusion. Modern medicine is a miracle, no doubt. Antibiotics alone have saved hundreds of millions of lives since their discovery. But here's the catch. They're useless if you can't access them. In a crisis, the shelves get cleared faster than you can say Tylenol. Did you know that during Hurricane Maria in 2017, Puerto Rico, a major hub for pharmaceutical manufacturing, lost power for months, leading to critical shortages of medical supplies worldwide? Imagine that, but global. Without access to pharmacies or hospitals, you're thrown back to basics. And here's the sobering truth. According to studies, about 50% of deaths in the pre-antibiotic era were due to infections that today are considered minor. So, step 1 is understanding that without modern medicine, your margin for error shrinks dramatically. Prevention, the best medicine. Let's get one thing straight. Your first and most important survival tactic is not getting sick or injured in the first place. Sounds obvious, right? But in a world without tetanus shots or insulin refills, even a splinter can become a death sentence. Hygiene is non-negotiable. Forget luxuries. Soap and clean water are your new best friends. According to the CDC, proper hand washing can reduce diarrheal diseases by up to 40%. Stockpile soap and learn how to make your own, because when society collapses, that fancy lavender body wash won't last long. And don't even think about neglecting your teeth. Dental abscesses killed more people in the past than you'd like to imagine. Floss, brush, and hoard toothpaste like it's gold. The art of injury avoidance. Every survival story seems to start with someone cutting themselves on a rusty nail. Be smarter than the average horror movie character. Invest in sturdy gloves, boots, and protective clothing. Just think of Mad Max or your favorite TWD character if it helps. Write in the comments what's your preferred attire. If you're handling tools, know what you're doing. And for heaven's sake, don't wrestle wild animals or climb cliffs for Instagram-worthy photos, especially since Instagram is probably insta-gone in this scenario. DIY medical basics so you've been careful but life happens. What now? Welcome to Survival Healthcare 101, where improvisation meets necessity. Treating wounds without antibiotics. A minor wound can escalate fast without proper care. Here's your plan. 1. Clean the wound thoroughly. 1. Use boiled and cooled water if disinfectants aren't available. 2. Use honey as a natural antibacterial. 2. Studies show that honey can inhibit over 60 species of bacteria. 2. It's sticky, sweet, and life-saving. 3. Bandage smartly. 3. If sterile gauze isn't an option, boil cloth to disinfect it. 3. Change the dressing daily to prevent infection. Pain management. The old-school way without ibuprofen or acetaminophen, you'll need to get creative. Willow bark, the original aspirin, is your go-to for headaches and inflammation. Just boil some bark in water and sip your bitter medicine like a champ. Liking and subscribing also helps heal the wound of what they call sadness. But that's a personal problem for me, I guess. Fever? Keep it cool. Fevers are your body's way of fighting infection, but they can get dangerous. Cool compresses, hydration, and rest are your best bets. And if herbal remedies are your thing, elderflower tea can help bring down a fever naturally. What about chronic conditions? This is where things get grim. For people reliant on modern medicine for chronic conditions like diabetes or hypertension, survival without access becomes significantly harder. Let's break this down. Diabetes and blood sugar control. If you or someone you care for has type 2 diabetes, diet becomes your medicine. Stick to low glycemic foods like nuts, leafy greens, and proteins. Cinnamon and fenugreek seeds have been shown in studies to help lower blood sugar levels naturally. For type 1 diabetes, survival becomes much trickier. Insulin is irreplaceable. Short-term refrigeration is critical, so look into solar-powered coolers. Long-term, it's about staying as healthy as possible to extend what insulin you have. Managing high blood pressure, salt reduction, garlic consumption, and stress management become your survival tools. Exercise helps too, but don't go overboard. A brisk walk is fine, sprinting from a bear less so. Herbal medicine, friend or folklore. Herbal remedies have been used for thousands of years, and while they won't replace penicillin, they're better than nothing. Here's a crash course in the plants that might save your life. 1. Garlic, nature's antibiotic. 1. It fights infections and lowers blood pressure. 2. Yarrow, stops bleeding. 2. Crush it into a poultice for wounds. 3. Peppermint, soothes upset stomachs and reduces nausea. 4. Echinacea, boosts your immune system, helping fight off colds. But beware, not all herbs are friendly. Research before you go munching on leaves like a woodland creature. Mental health, surviving the psychological toll. Physical survival is one thing, but the mental strain of life without modern medicine is a whole other beast. Depression, anxiety, and panic can paralyze you in critical moments. The power of routine structure your days. Wake up, eat, clean, and sleep on a schedule. It gives your brain a sense of control in a chaotic world. Community matters. Even in survival scenarios, humans are social creatures. A study from Harvard found that people with strong social connections are 50% more likely to survive life's challenges, share resources, build trust, and lean on each other. Breathing techniques for stress. Controlled breathing isn't just for yoga moms. It reduces cortisol, the stress hormone. Practice box breathing. Inhale for 4 counts, hold for 4, exhale for 4, and repeat. Now we're getting into the gritty details. How to deal with more complex medical emergencies, tackle illnesses, and create long-term survival strategies for when disaster strikes. Infections, the silent reaper. Infections are sneaky. They start small, a red spot, a little swelling, and before you know it, they can spiral out of control. Let's break down how to spot, treat, and most importantly, prevent them when antibiotics are off the table. Signs of infection. 1. Swelling, redness, and heat around a wound. 2. Pus or a foul smell, gross but important to know. 3. Fever, chills, or feeling off are signs the infection might be spreading. Treatment tactics. 1. Honey to the rescue. Honey is antibacterial and can create a barrier to prevent further infection. 1. Spread it on a cleaned wound before dressing it. 2. Garlic poultices. Crush garlic cloves and apply them to infected areas. 2. Garlic contains allicin, a natural antimicrobial compound. 3. Warm compresses. For deeper infections like abscesses, heat can help draw out pus and improve circulation. Prevention over everything. 1. Keep wounds clean and dry. 2. Rotate dressings daily or more often if they're wet or dirty. 3. Learn to sterilize tools and bandages with boiling water or alcohol if available. Pandemics. When illness goes viral, picture this. The flu or something worse is spreading like wildfire. Hospitals are long out of commission, and quarantine measures are laughable. What do? Isolation is key. Keep sick individuals separate from the healthy. Designate a sick room if space allows. Masks, even homemade ones, can reduce transmission. Just make sure to clean or replace them frequently. Natural antivirals. 1. Elderberry. Studies suggest it can reduce flu symptoms and potentially inhibit viral replication. 2. Ginger. Boosts immunity and soothes symptoms like sore throat and nausea. 3. Licorice root contains glycyrrhizin, which has shown antiviral activity in lab studies. Combat dehydration. Most deaths from illnesses like the flu or cholera are due to dehydration. Oral rehydration salts, ORS, can be a lifesaver. You can make your own by mixing. 1. 1 liter of clean water. 2. 6 teaspoons of sugar. 3. 1/2 teaspoon of salt. Trauma and first aid. Handling the big stuff. When the stakes are high, like broken bones or severe bleeding, knowing what to do could mean the difference between life and death. Stopping major bleeds. 1. Apply direct pressure immediately with clean fabric or gauze. 2. If that doesn't work, use a tourniquet above the injury site. 2. A belt, scarf, or even strips of cloth can work in a pinch, but only do this when you've learned how to do it properly, because otherwise it's dangerous. 3. Elevate the injured limb if possible to reduce blood flow. Broken bones. 1. Immobilize the limb using splints, sticks, cardboard, or even rolled up newspapers can work. 2. Secure with bandages or strips of fabric, but don't cut off circulation. 3. If the break is open, bone sticking out, sterilize and dress the wound as best as you can before splinting. Burn care. 1. Cool burns with clean, cool but not ice-cold water for 10 to 20 minutes. 2. Cover with a non-stick dressing. 2. Honey can also be used for minor burns to promote healing. 3. Avoid popping blisters, they're nature's bandage. Long-term survival. When weeks turn to months. If the crisis drags on, short-term fixes won't cut it. You'll need to think about sustainable solutions for healthcare and wellness. Grow your own medicine. Start a medicinal herb garden with plants like chamomile, calendula, and aloe vera. They're low maintenance and incredibly useful. Preserve what you have. 1. Salt and vinegar are natural preservatives for food and can also disinfect wounds in a pinch. 2. Alcohol, if available, doubles as a disinfectant and a barter item. Learn basic diagnostic skills. Invest in medical manuals like Where There Is No Doctor or the Survival Medicine Handbook. Knowledge is power, especially when you can't Google symptoms. Preparing for childbirth. Without a hospital, if babies don't stop being born during crises, you'd better be ready. Pre-modern childbirth was dangerous, but preparation can improve outcomes. Create a sterile environment. Boil all tools, scissors, clamps, and use clean sheets. Wash hands thoroughly before assisting. Know the stages of labor. 1. Early labor can last hours to days. 2. Active labor is when contractions intensify and the baby moves into position. 3. Delivery requires focus. Support the baby's head and shoulders, ensuring the umbilical cord isn't wrapped around the neck. Post-birth care. 1. Keep both mother and baby warm. 2. Clean the umbilical cord stump with boiled water and allow it to air dry. The role of community. Sharing skills and resources. Survival is rarely a solo effort. Banding together with others can increase your odds if you're careful about who you trust. Forming a medical network. If possible, gather people with complementary skills. Someone who knows first aid, another who can forage for medicinal plants, etc. Barter wisely. Medical supplies will be incredibly valuable. Trade cautiously and only with trusted individuals. Set rules. Agree on how to handle emergencies, who gets access to communal resources, and how disputes will be resolved. The harsh reality. Accepting limitations. Without modern medicine, there will be situations you can't fix. It's a grim but necessary truth. Know when to comfort rather than treat and when to prioritize the living over the inevitable. Conclusion. Knowledge is your medicine. Surviving without modern medicine isn't just about stocking up. It's about adapting, learning, and staying resourceful. The more you know, the better your chances. So get educated, get prepared, and most importantly, stay alive. If this video made you rethink your emergency plans, give it a thumbs up and subscribe. Because survival isn't just about preparing for the worst, it's about hoping for the best and being ready for anything.